Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to do a video talking about The Dark Knight. This is not a review because I did do a review. This is just a look back at The Dark Knight, which came out in July 18, 2008. I was definitely in that theater back then. I remember I went with my three cousins, my cousin Lindsay, my cousin Chris, and my cousin Mike, as well as my brother Kevin. My cousin Lindsay had her boyfriend Eddie tag along at the time. Her ex, he's an ex now. Yeah, I remember all of us went that night to go see The Dark Knight. I was really excited. Everybody always knew back then because for a long time I've always said, I'm Batman. I've always told people that for jokes, obviously. I wish I was Batman. I am Batman. What am I talking about? But yeah, so of course we all had to go see The Dark Knight because of that. And man, I remember coming out of that theater so blown away from what I saw. It blew my expectations at the door because before The Dark Knight came out, I was like thinking to myself, man, how are they going to top Batman Begins? Because I thought Batman Begins already was a great movie on its own. And so to come into The Dark Knight and thinking that, is this going to be better? And then it was better because the Joker is that character that you can go all out with. He is a character that is creepy enough and theatrical enough to pull that off. And they did, man. And, you know, before this, people were like, are they going to be able to top Jack Nicholson? Jack Nicholson was like the Joker at the time. That's all the Joker they could talk about was Jack Nicholson. And even though I thought that was a good interpretation, I was never one of the people that was like in love with Jack Nicholson's performance. But I did know a couple of people, including one that was in the audience with me that night, one of my cousins, who was a huge Tim Burton, Jack Nicholson fan. Nowadays, all he can talk about is Heath Ledger and how great he is, and Christopher Nolan's great, amazing film. But at the time, he was one of those people that was like, Tim Burton is the only guy that could do Batman. Like he put off Batman Begins for a long time. That he only watched it once he found out the Joker was going to be in The Dark Knight and that movie was coming very soon. So then he went back and rewatched watched Batman Begins. Despite the fact that I told him so many times that it was a great movie, he wanted to be like that. Whatever. Lots of people are like that to me. I tell them something's good, they don't believe me until they finally see it. Then they're like, "Oh yeah, that was a good movie." I'm like, "I told you this when it came out." I get so frustrated. I need to have movie fans surrounding me because clearly I don't have enough. But thankfully we all enjoyed that movie a lot, and it's one that always stuck with me when going to see that in the theater. I remember the scene that stuck with me the most, and it's still one of my favorite scenes in the movie today, is that scene where Batman is interrogating the Joker in the police station. It was like a scene that I'd never seen before in a Batman movie. And for them to really pull that off, and how the scene escalated from there into the fact that the Joker wanted to be caught because he eventually wanted to escape to also get the Asian character, who I'm forgetting the character's name, from China that Batman went to China to get and then bring him back to Gotham to get arrested. Joker wanted to get him to get rid of him and show the mob that, see, this guy's dead now and all your money is burnt and stuff. But then also on top of all that, to kill Rachel was crazy because, you know, superhero movies by that point, no, the love interest is always rescued by that point. And The Dark Knight turned a 680 on us, or whatever it is, and killed the love interest, which was like, what is going on? And, you know, I want to say also that it's not just the Joker that makes this movie. I think a lot of people nowadays, some people will go, oh, the only reason people love The Dark Knight is just because of the Joker. No, it's more than the Joker. Maybe some people, it's that. I know my cousin who came with me that was his reason. It's because the Joker is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, no, the rest of the cast is great in this movie too. You gotta love Christian Bale as Batman and Bruce Wayne. Some people have issues with his voice. I'm not one of those people that have huge issues with it. I get it, but it doesn't bother me like it bothers others. I think Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent and Two-Face is phenomenal. I think it's the Two-Face we finally deserved. Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon is terrific, and he was already great in Batman Begins and then Dark Knight Rises as well. All the mobsters were great in the smaller roles. I thought Michael J. White was in this. Spawn, the original Spawn was in this movie. Michael J. White. This was a phenomenal cast. Obviously, Michael Caine, you got to bring him up too. And yes, Heath Ledger was amazing and definitely deserved that award, the award for his Oscar. I think the Oscars actually did give it to him because of his passing away. I don't want to take that away from Heath Ledger, but I have a feeling it would have been interesting to see what would have happened if Heath Ledger didn't pass away, and if the Oscars would have still awarded him that award, or even looked at the movie for that matter. I don't know, but I'm glad that movie got that recognition because it deserved it. There's a lot of great performances in these superhero movies, and I wish that the Oscars would kind of pay a little bit more attention to them once in a while, not just these special effects awards. A lot of these movies have reached some great lengths, especially thanks to the Nolan Batman films. His trilogy, I think, really showed what kind of movies you can do with this, and you can see a little bit of that influence sink into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You go and watch those movies. Nolan was the one, in my opinion, that started the trend of getting a subgenre and mixing it in with the superhero genre. Remember, Batman Begins, he used Blade Runner. The original Blade Runner was an influence on Batman Begins. He made the whole crew watch Blade Runner before going to film Batman Begins, and he told them, look, this is the film I want to make. This is the kind of film I want to make. The Dark Knight was inspired by Heat. It was a crime thriller disguised as a superhero film. And then you got The Dark Knight Rises. I forgot the novel that they used. It wasn't Lord of the Flies. I forgot the name of the novel, but it was definitely a war-inspired film. To me, Nolan showed Marvel, hey, Marvel noticed this, because if you look at a lot of their movies nowadays, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War are political thrillers. Thor are your fantasy films, except the third Thor movie, Ragnarok, turned into like a 80s inspired Flash Gordon type of movie. Guardians of the Galaxy is your Star Wars movie. You got Ant-Man, which is definitely a comedy, and Doctor Strange, which is kind of like your mystical magic stuff going on there. So Marvel is definitely noticed what Nolan had done with his Batman trilogy, specifically The Dark Knight. But obviously they do it in their own little way. They still have their own tone to it, and that's the way to do it. You can still have your own tone while doing your own type of film. And obviously the cinematography in this movie is fantastic. There are some really great shots throughout this movie. And the score, Hans Zimmer's score throughout the entire Dark Knight trilogy is so phenomenal. I mean, this is why he is the master right now, in my opinion. He is one of the best currently in the business when it comes to scoring films. I have a lot of the soundtracks that he has scored for, and Dark Knight is definitely up there with a lot of those films. So, guys, I want you to reflect with me on The Dark Knight. You can chip in and add Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises in there as well. But The Dark Knight, I think most people will agree, is the best one. And this film deserves to be celebrated. It's a great movie. I watch it at least once a year for my birthday, because I like to watch my favorite movie on my birthday, and that's the one that I'll probably be watching again this year. But there's something cool this year that I might change those plans, because it seems like The Dark Knight is returning to theaters for 1 week, starting on August 24th in IMAX. There's 4 IMAXs right now confirmed across North America. One of them is in my hometown of Toronto. I'm thinking of it, so we'll see. I don't know 100% yet, but I wouldn't mind checking this movie out again on the big screen, especially on a huge 77 millimeter IMAX screen. That's going to be insane. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and until next time, take care.